2020, Hiệp định RCEP đã hoàn tất đàm phán sau 8 năm. Với quy mô 2,2 tỷ người dân,
The second Minister of Finance and Economy, Brunei Darussalam. The agreement. Next, may I kindly invite Excellency Mr. Agus Suparmanto, Minister of Trade, Indonesia, to sign the agreement. Kemani Fonsena, Minister of Industry and Commerce, Lao PDR, to sign the agreement.
xin trân trọng cảm ơn Ngài Thủ tướng và Ngài Bộ trưởng.
Thank you, Excellency Prime Minister.
Xin trân trọng cảm ơn. Xin trân trọng. Xin trân trọng cảm ơn.
As you can see, China and 14 other countries signed a deal to form world's largest trade bloc. China and 14 other countries on Sunday to set up the world's largest trading bloc. Nearly a third of all economic activity in a deal many Asians are hoping will help to recover from their shock of the pandemic. What is it they're doing that we don't know about? It's like all roads does lead back to China. The place where they say that this thing started is recovering faster than everywhere else. Don't forget about China digital yuan. With all these other countries that signed, will they have to use the digital yuan to do business with China? Yeah, over the weekend of October 10th, the People Bank of China ran a lottery that distributed 10 million yuan, 1.5 million worth of Chinese digital currency to citizens of Shenzhen. About 2 million people participated in the lottery and 50,000 people won the contest. Each winner received 200 digital yuan, $30, which can be spent toward a digital renminbi app linked to the participant's bank account. So, to me, what this is a way to trial the digital yuan. This is for them to test it before everybody else start using it. It does make sense. The digital yuan does make sense for China. If 14 other countries that have their own country, their own currency, going to be doing business with China, it is easy and faster for them to use a digital yuan when it comes to China. This is what I think. I have no idea what's gonna happen, but this is what I think. This is what I put together, and it makes a lot of sense. Another little piece of news: China is rapidly expanding its oil resource in Africa. So everybody's trying to bank the unbanked, especially the people in Africa. With this 14 other countries and with a digital yuan and all the loans that China gave out to countries and all the infrastructure and things that they're building in Africa, for sure Africa is a big part of what China's plan is. It is good it is good and bad, but I think it's good for the people in Africa in a way, because no other country seems to be helping the people in Africa out. Understand, nothing's for free. So when China gives you something, they expect to get their money back with interest or something in return. And with a pandemic, who is able to pay China back now? China congrats Biden, but few U.S. policy change seen. There hasn't been much on what's going on with the U.S. and China when Biden steps in. We don't know what's going to happen, but for sure something's going on. But it seems like China is happy Donald Trump is out. I'm going to play another video showing you guys that China is not playing around. China thinks ahead. China is a key to the world. After this video, you will understand a lot more, or maybe you could put some things together, or anything that would be helpful. Leave it in the comments. Don't forget, it's your boy Bitcoin Trapper. Check this out.
There's a new highway in Pakistan and a new rail terminal in Kazakhstan. A seaport in Sri Lanka recently opened, as well as this bridge in rural Laos. What's interesting is that they're all part of one country's project that spans 3 continents and touches over 60% of the world's population. If you connect the dots, it's not hard to see which country that is. This is China's Belt and Road Initiative, the most ambitious infrastructure project in modern history that's designed to reroute global trade. And it's how China plans to become the world's next superpower.
Kazakhstan.
It's 2013, and Chinese President Xi Jinping is giving a speech in Kazakhstan, where he mentions the ancient Silk Road, a network of trade routes that spread goods, ideas, and culture across Europe, the Middle East, and China as far back as 200 BC. He then says,
We should take an innovative approach and jointly build an economic belt along the Silk Road.
A month later, Xi is in Indonesia.
The two sides should work together to build up a new maritime road in the 21st century.
These two phrases were the first mentions of Xi's legacy project, the multi-trillion-dollar Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI. They're also the 2 components of the plan. There's an overland economic belt of 6 corridors that serve as new routes to get goods in and out of China, like this railroad connecting China to London, and these gas pipelines from the Caspian Sea to China, and a high-speed train network in Southeast Asia. Then there's the Maritime Silk Road, a chain of seaports stretching from the South China Sea to Africa that also directs trade to and from China. The BRI also includes oil refineries, industrial parks, power plants, mines, and fiber optic networks, all designed to make it easier for the world to trade with China. So far, over 60 countries have reportedly signed agreements for these projects. And the list is growing because China promotes it as a win-win for everyone. Take, for example, the BRI's flagship project, Pakistan. Like many countries in Central and South Asia, Pakistan has a stagnant economy and a corruption problem. It wasn't a popular place for foreign investment, that is until China came along. In 2001, China offered to build a brand new port in the small fishing town of Gwadar. By 2018, the port, as well as a highway and railway networks, became a $62 billion corridor within the BRI. It's where the economic belt meets the maritime Silk Road, and it seemed to benefit both countries. Pakistan saw its highest GDP growth in 8 years and forged a tight relationship with a major world power. China, on the other hand, secured a new alternative route for goods, especially oil and gas from the Middle East. Through projects like these, it also found a way to boost its economy. Chinese construction companies that had fewer opportunities within their own country saw a huge boost from BRI contracts. 7 out of the 10 biggest construction firms in the world are now Chinese. What tips the balance in China's favor even more is a requirement that it be involved in building these projects. In Pakistan, for example, Chinese workers have directly built projects like this highway here, and a Chinese firm has worked with locals on a railway here in Serbia. China's involvement is one of its very few demands, and that's set these deals apart so far. See, typically, to get investment from the West, countries have to meet strict ethical standards. But China's offered billions of dollars, mostly in loans, with far fewer conditions. So it's no surprise the BRI has been a big hit with the less democratic countries in the region. China has signed agreements with authoritarian governments, military regimes, and some of the most corrupt countries in the world. It's even affiliated with Afghanistan, Ukraine, Yemen, and Iraq, all currently splintered by conflict. Because of China's willingness to loan money to unreliable countries, many experts have called the BRI a risky plan. Eventually, these countries will have to pay China back, but corruption and conflict make that payback unlikely. A recent report found that many of the countries indebted to China are very vulnerable, including 8 that are at high risk of being unable to pay. So why does China keep lending? Because there's more to the BRI than just economics. In Sri Lanka, China loaned about $1.5 billion for a new deepwater port. It was a key stop on the maritime Silk Road. By 2017, it was clear Sri Lanka couldn't pay back the loan, so instead they gave China control of the port as part of a 99-year lease. China also controls the strategic port in Pakistan, where it has a 40-year lease. It's pushing for a similar agreement in Myanmar, and it just opened an actual Chinese naval base in Djibouti. These are all signs of what's been called the string of pearls theory. It predicts that China is trying to establish a string of naval bases in the Indian Ocean that will allow it to station ships and guard shipping routes that move through the region. So while China's not getting its money back, it's still achieving some very important strategic goals. China's growing influence challenges the status of the US, which has been the world's lone superpower for the last several decades. But isolation is trending in the US, meaning that they are investing less and therefore losing influence around the world. The BRI is China's way of leveraging power to become a global leader. By building relationships and taking control of global trade, China's well on its way.
China is on a mission. China been working on this mission for a long time. The Belt and Road is very, very important to China. And look at what happens when you can't pay China back their money. You got to give them control of something very important. So it's a win-win for China either way. And China's giving them loans to countries that they can't even pay back. They're giving it out to some of the poorest countries. So once you can't pay back China, you better give them the land. And when you give them land, they're sending in their people. That's why I see up here in North America, especially, in Canada, in almost every major city, there's a Chinatown. If I'm not mistaken, probably there's one in every city. But I know there's one in Ottawa, and I know there's one in Toronto. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it is what it is. China is on a mission and China is going to achieve. Because unlike the US and some other place, China is not thinking about today. Well, not only today, they always think ahead. That's why I tell you guys all the time. China is always preparing their people for the future. They're teaching them about the future. The Belt and Road. Anyways, it's your boy Bitcoin Trapper. Like and subscribe. You already know.